Hey, Broadway fans, we're alive, we are so alive. We are talking Next to Normal in just a second. Stay tuned.
Welcome to Popcorn Talk, featuring movie discussion, news, and interviews. Popcorn Talk, we talk movies. Popcorn Talk's Broadway Breakdown.
Yes. This is the only way I can get out of bed, is this song right here. I would sing it with you if I didn't have a cold right now. So sad.
Before we can start the show, because it's Aaron Tveit and I can't turn him off.
I don't want you to turn him off, okay? I just love this song so much because he puts so much feeling into it, and it's amazing.
My favorite part of this entire song is when he reaches down to her and she's like,
yeah, and right at the end.
Yes.
So good.
Hi, Broadway fans. Thank you for joining us on this very special night because we are not on our normal day this week, Memorial Day weekend. We had to rearrange the schedule, so we're here for Wednesday night. But it makes sense in the theater. We'll double feature. 8 p.m. is when the show starts.
Yep. I think it's a perfect day. Perfect day.
I'm your host, Briana Phipps. You guys can find me at bphipps14 on Twitter and Instagram, bphipps1214 on Snapchat, and I am joined by the lovely, usually in the booth, but now in person, Alexis Torres.
I have taken over because Jacque B's not here, so they let me out of the cage. Hi! You guys can find me all over social media at atorres890. That's ATORRES890. And I'm so excited to talk about this musical.
I know, it's my second favorite musical of all time, right behind Cabaret. Cabaret always has my heart because it was what I grew up with, but this musical just hits home in so many ways, not even in the depressing ways, just in the feels and all the feels.
I'm trying not to cry as we talk about this.
Also Aaron Tveit.
Yeah, because he's a god. Just saying. Just saying.
And Alice, just all of them. Just all of them.
Yeah, what a great cast.
What a great cast. And it's just such a real and raw show.
Yeah.
It's I know it's a really depressing show in some ways, but obviously, but
educational.
It's educational, and they just did everything right. I knew families with parents that acted like them, or with daughters. I had friends that were the daughters that were like her, and maybe not in the similar situations of the aspects of this play, but in personality wise.
I need more hands to just point in my direction.
So it's just I feel like they just hit it right on the nose with this show, and I think that's why it was such a hit. That's why it's such a success. Besides the fact that the music is just amazing.
So good.
So I love it, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna get more into it because
yes,
I have things to talk about.
I want to start off with some of the themes. So obviously we have multiple themes going on here.
I was to say, which one do you want to start with? Because there's a lot.
Let's start with the main one of the fact of how we treat people with mental disorder in this country / this world.
Yes. Continue.
So a major theme in the show is, medicate instead of fix. Medicate instead of make the person whole, which I know not every psychologist and psychiatrist and pharmaceutical not everyone does do that, but there is a large thing in this country that if someone is kind of if we've tried everything else and they just don't respond to anything,
right, that
the cure now is just to get them to a point where they don't feel, rather than
no
it is a hard thing because in the play they do say with her we've tried the therapy, we've tried this, we've tried that, and nothing worked, so let's try all these different pills.
Yeah, which I that scene itself really spoke to as a person who has had to deal with that. Not the same extent, because that was a lot.
You didn't have a son that
no, that I was follow me around and was hey, you want to hang out? And I'm no. But that scene with his
my psychopharmacologist.
There it is. I was it's not psychogynecologist. That would be weird. Psychopharmacologist and I was mixing that up. Way different. That's a weird musical. But the fact that he was sitting there okay, you can't take the green ones with the white ones. You have to split them up in 3/4. The fact that just the instructions alone, especially with someone who's diagnosed with bipolar, depression, anxiety, and a whole bunch of other stuff.
Yeah.
there's a lot of medication for that. But as a person who's had to do like 2 different medications for anxiety and depression and something else, ADHD, that's what it was. I couldn't mix, and the cocktails are weird and all that kind of stuff. It was very real to me because the fact of just like anytime I was on antidepressants, it just felt like nothing was happening.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a powerful thing, and we're going to get to the music a little bit later, but just such a powerful thing at the end of that when she's just like, I don't feel like myself, I don't feel anything, and he just cites patient stable.
Yeah, and that's
because, like, you know, we're going through all these other stages, we're going through I can't feel my fingers or my toes, like, she has sweat profusely for no reason.
Yep, she has no desire for sex, but she doesn't know for
sex. Like, yeah, I mean, that's a real thing too. Is like we have all these different pills that are meant to help in certain ways, but I mean, even like stuff that you get over the counter, like you listen to these commercials and the amount of side effects.
Yeah, especially because with testing, they have to list every single side effect that every single person who tested had. That's why the list is so long.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you won't be depressed anymore, but you will have no desire for sex. You'll lose all hope for the world, and you may die of a heart attack.
Yeah,
but you won't be depressed.
Hey, looking up, right? Right?
I think Robin Williams like has a joke about it where it's like anal leakage is one of the things he says. Yep. And he's like, it's all like, I don't know if it's worth it.
Maybe it is. I don't know unless you're into that. But just the fact of just how greatly descriptive and a lot of research that went into this play, which if you look up the Wikipedia or any type of history about this play.
There's also a book that the composer / the scriptwriter wrote.
What was his name?
The composer's the scriptwriter.
Both. Because it's
Tom
Kitt and
Brian Yorkie.
Oh man, messing it up. I'm also cold medicated right now, so I apologize if I'm sniffling near my microphone, iTunes listeners. But the fact that
I love the fact that they brought in that she wasn't necessarily mentally healthy before this, like that she was diagnosed bipolar when she was younger.
Yeah. I mean, she even mentioned her mother in the play and that she was hypercentric or something like that.
So I like that they brought that in. It's not like, oh, one event happens in your life and all of a sudden it can
happen for sure.
But, more often than not, it is someone that already is predisposed to already have like some of these issues and doesn't know how to necessarily handle it. And and I love also that this play shows all these characters handling the same event in such different ways.
Yeah, which is very normal for a family that has to go through that, especially someone who is a mom who already goes through post-traumatic stress disorder when it comes to, having a child and then losing the child. It's weird because the song says 18 months and the play it's at 8 months, and I was like, I don't know how old this child is.
18 months old.
Yeah, and then I was watching, illegally, through YouTube, that it was 8 months. So, like, I don't know.
Huh.
See what I mean? So I don't know if
they
they changed
18 months because of the lyrics.
Yes.
I'm just gonna
in the soundtrack it says 18 months, so
months.
that's what I usually go with. But I think if you watch the play, it's at 8. But it doesn't matter because this was
maybe
like
it was
2
just
years
a flub
later.
in the play.
And
we're one time.
And
you never know.
And that's fine.
I have the script, so I will read it and I will write in the comments what the script says.
I'm actually very concerned because I need to know. But
it is. She is her way of handling it is, in my mind, he's alive.
Yeah,
and he's still here. And in the father's way of handling it, which it took me so long to sympathize with the father. Yeah. Like, listening to the soundtrack, I never sympathized with the father. And then watching the show and watching the actor portray him, I finally was able to kind of start to sympathize with him. And then as, like, events in my life, as I grew older, I started to sympathize with him more and more because it's like he's trying so hard to keep this family together and to keep everybody happy.
Oh yeah. And the fact that he's also I love that point that he made that he's never been alone because they
were
got
together when they were in college.
Yeah, like 22. And
they were like
20.
They're the stereotypical college, get pregnant, haven't been dating that long, but let's get married because we're pregnant.
Yeah.
And now let's just learn to live with each other for the rest of our lives, even though we didn't really know each other that well.
And it was really crazy because that flashback with him in it, or flashback, musical theater flashback, comes in. I was like, really? Yeah. Like, I was very confused when he was like in a collared shirt and was just like, hey, everything's going to be fine. And I was like, wait, what's happening? But yeah, so it was really cool to see that. And he brings it up a lot throughout the entire play of how, like, I miss that, ambitious 20-year-old.
It's so easy, especially just with the music, to be so mad at him.
Oh, yeah.
Like, don't you see what she's going through? Like, how can you just be doing this? But it's like, once you, like, get to, like, the script part of it and you just realize, like, he has to be, like, with how she is, he has to. Like, he can't let himself get there, anywhere near like having a breakdown, because he has to take care of his wife, because she needs it more than right now. She needs to be taken care of more than he does.
Yeah.
So he was never, I guess, or at least for himself, he never allowed himself to feel or accept the pain that was happening.
Yeah, because then I've been like that song really spoke to, at least from his perspective, because the fact of just not a lot of people can sympathize with the husband. The people that I went with back in 2010 or 11 when I went to go see it, they were all like, oh, he's a jerk. And I was like, no, like it makes sense for him to feel like he doesn't have time. I
will state really fast that both me and Alexis were very fortunate enough to have seen this in the original tour when Alice Ripley was doing it.
Dude, she's amazing.
I don't know how she does this role or did this role for so long and is able to wake up in the morning. Like, I feel like I would just be like, life's not worth it.
Well, I think that's why she retired after the
it's
run.
So emotional.
She didn't do another play after that. She did TV, but like...
It's just such an emotionally draining...
Every day?
Just watching it is emotionally draining.
Six times a week? Maybe more?
No, more than that.
Maybe
because usually there's 2 days of matinees, so it's usually
eight shows a week. And that's since 2009. Insane. I mean, like, I know that there were times where I think she had her understudy do a couple stuff
probably
too.
I mean, I feel like you need to.
You need some breaks.
Like, you need to just go watch comedy 24/7 and just feel something that's not pain.
Yeah, and I feel bad for her, because I know that when I went to go see it, I know a lot of people don't like her voice, which is unfortunate. And
I think it's for the, and I could see how, like I said this earlier, I love her voice regardless, but I could see how some people might not. But I think for this show, it 100% works. Yeah,
because when I went to go see it, it was unfortunate because I went to go see it while I was still in college, and I had an all-nighter before, so I was just like, this is the worst. Not like the musical itself, but I was miserable because I was tired. But rewatching and re-listening to the original Broadway cast, she was phenomenal. She's practically yelling at the audience what she's feeling. So that's 8 times a week. She's
making you feel an emotion, which it's in theater the only way. We don't have those close-ups like film where we can see the anguish in the face. So you have to have the emotion in the voice and in your movement. Mm-hmm. And she just nailed it.
Yeah, especially with "Wish I Were Here." Oh, that's one of my favorite songs out of the entire play, because it's it really shows what she's feeling.
Before I saw the show and I just listened to the soundtrack, I thought that Natalie, I guess I didn't listen intently enough, because now I listen back and I hear that he's talking about prescription drugs.
Yes.
But in my head, she was on something much...
Yeah, I thought she was on meth or cocaine or something.
In my head, at the end of that song, she was had a needle in her arm or something. God. In visual. And then I saw the play and I was like, right. This actually makes more sense than what I was thinking.
Because we have that scene where she goes in, when... Gabe puts the purse out for her. If you haven't seen the play, sorry. And
you're watching the review of it, so
I hope that you've seen it or at least listened to it. There's a scene where it was right after.
It's right after I Miss the Mountains, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's Superboy and the
I think
it's after Superboy and the Invisible Girl,
which is my favorite song,
because that's when she starts with the weed for the first time.
With the apple. That was so weird.
Apple.
And then the purse was left out. She was looking through the different drugs, because it was right after she was like, oh, we're never going to be back to normal, and so... I think, I don't remember the list of pills, but it was Xanax.
Bisbar and Xanax, difficult climb of an Ambien, Prozac.
Yep.
Adolphin calls me when... Sorry, it's the only way I can remember.
No, but that's what it was. And that's not a deadly mixture, but the fact that if you don't know what you're doing and you're just taking them to take them, it can cause problems. Mm-hmm. And so the fact that she was just kind of, abusing this fact, it will mess with you after a while.
And Natalie is one of the characters that you spend so much time listening, and when you're watching the show, concentrating on how bad you feel for Diana. But Natalie is so when you think about it, her entire life not really ever feeling loved by her mom, because her mom just physically couldn't love her.
Yep.
Because she couldn't allow herself to.
Yep.
And then her dad being so caught up with taking care of her mother, like that she was just kind of abandoned in a way.
Yeah.
And like, you just look at her as this angsty teen, but it's like she has every right to be.
No, and the fact that she has a lot riding, she's trying to be a good student. She wants to get into Yale, you know, on a scholarship.
She's like trying to do it's like almost like you can like, I mean, you can look at it in different ways, but I looked at it as she's trying so hard to like impress her parents.
Yeah, so that she can
have attention.
Yeah, I mean, like after watching this play and listening to it for all these years now, which I can't believe how like old this play is in my head.
Almost 10 years old.
Oh my god. Natalie and I are the same because I always dealt with a mom. I mean, my mom was not anywhere close to Diana, but she was, or Diana, but like my mom was a workaholic. My dad was always trying to keep a family presence, and I was the one who was trying to get a scholarship to go to college, trying to play piano to the best ability because I had lessons and
like we said before, I think that they just did this in a way that, like, even if you don't relate to the characters,
you can find a way to.
You can find, like, because I don't, like, you know, obviously in the more severe ways, I don't relate to them, but there's parts of Diana that are me. There's parts of Natalie that are me. There's parts of Dan that are me. I always forget his name, and I have to, like, look at my note because
you only hear his name twice.
They barely ever say his name.
Twice.
And Henry, there's parts of Henry, like, the characters
Henry's
are just
adorable, though.
I know.
I love him.
They're just such real characters that I think it's impossible. Like, even if you don't relate to them, like, you know someone like them.
Yeah, or someone that went through it, you know, like it's
or just someone that, like, you know, like, that handles something like that. Like, I mean, even if it's not to that extreme.
No, but to a degree. And I feel like that's what makes this place so amazing is how relatable in any way, shape,
I also
and form
think it's kind of remarkable that they show this dynamic where it's both women being kind of scared of the commitment and wanting to get away, and the guys kind of chasing them, because so much in our current world, like on television and movies, everything you see is the opposite. Yeah, it's the guy with the commitment issues and the women trying. So I liked that they flipped it because it doesn't matter what gender you are, like either person can have whatever. And especially because there's only technically two women. Well, no, there is only two women in this entire play. There's 2 women and 3 guys. Men. Yeah, and all three. But technically the well, no, I guess like they do 4 guys technically if you count Gabriel. Oh, Gabe. But the doctor, I was gonna say, like I was gonna say could be a woman, but like they do. I mean, you could change the pronoun. You could change it, but it would be really cool to see that scene. The rock star woman. Oh, that one, because they don't put that in the album, it catches you off guard, and you're like, whoa, this is awesome. Yeah, because, like, in the album, you only hear, like, and you're not a scary rock star anymore. And you're like, huh? And you're just like, oh, I guess it's just her. Yeah. And then when you watch it, you're like, oh. That makes more sense now. She was seeing. But that was so cool. And it's really cool because anybody who does play the doctor. Dr. Fine and Dr. Madden, they play both, but Dr. Madden is the more prevalent one, I believe. Yes, Dr. Madden is the one that we deal with the most. And Dr. Fine is the rock star. Yeah, and Dr. Fine is the one that gives all the pills. The psychopharmacologist. Yes. So I love that he gets to play with his role because if you look at all the people who've played the doctor, they've always taken that rock star status to a whole different level in every single time. I've always wanted to see what, like, maybe not Adam Lambert, but an actual rock star would do. I think it'd be funny. I just, like, it's so crazy to think how small this cast is. There's nobody there. It's what? Was it 6? 6 people. 6 people total? Yeah, 6 people total. Yeah. 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 Crazy. Yeah, and then obviously you have the band. And that's plus with the amount of intimacy you're having in this show. Like every single cast member is pretty much on stage the entire time. Yeah, except for like maybe the littlest amounts of time. Yeah. But even like when they're like not being front and present, like they're usually in like the second or third door of the house just kind of standing there. They're just hanging out. And then even when... Especially Gabe. He just I just love that he's just always like... I had a friend... When I took my friends to see this musical, a lot of people were kind of creeped out by Gabe. And I was like, that's kind of the point. Because he's not like a good guy. He's also not a bad guy. He's kind of just playing his own rules, you know? And the fact that he's always kind of hovering around his family, you can't really tell if it's like, I want to connect, or if I mean, obviously you can interpret it any way you want because that's kind of what his character is. But I know some people who are like really creeped out by Gabe, and I'm like,
No, it's a mother and daughter. It's a mother and son love. Don't think past that.
It's just what she's envisioned in her head, what she wants.
Yeah, she wants a connection with her son.
She wants a connection with someone because she doesn't have a connection.
Yeah, because her husband is trying to play, I'm trying to play all the roles. And
they don't really understand each other. Like, you see, like, in the beginning, like, she tells the jokes like, you man, I woman, I stay home, you go to work. And he's like, I don't understand her.
And I was like,
and it's like, it just shows, like, that dynamic of, like, they have a love for each other, but they're not
on the same page.
No.
Yeah.
And even if their son had lived, like, there's no saying that they would have ended up on the same page.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the healthy theme in the show, which is hope and love. Like,
dude, awesome.
They leave you with this way. Like, it is an emotional ride, this entire show, and you're so, like...
Yeah, I was crying the entire musical.
You're just, like, torn apart. So I love that the end is this... it didn't end happy.
But it didn't need to.
It didn't need to because, and they say it in the song, in the Light song, like, you don't give me gray and shade, like, in clouds and gray, because it's, like, the price we pay to feel.
Yep.
And she's like, you don't have to be happy at all to be happy you're alive. Like, they leave you with these little things that are, like, no matter what you're going through in life, no matter the hard times you're going through, there is that little light at the end of the tunnel, that if you try hard enough and you work hard enough, like, you can get yourself out of this darkness and into that light.
I completely agree with you, and I feel like it's something that people need to realize, that, like, especially now in this time where everyone's like, oh, you just need to be happier, you'll feel better if you have a happy life, happy wife, like, crap like that. And it's like,
it's not true.
That's not how that works. People are allowed to feel something that's other than happy. People have bad days.
It's totally fine.
Yeah, and you shouldn't sit there and be like, well, what's wrong with them? They just need to change their outlook on life.
Because that's what we do a lot. We sit there and, you go through a depression, or you go through, you have anxiety, or you have a mental disorder, and you think, what's wrong with me?
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong.
Yeah.
There's many, many people out there going through the similar things. We just... And that's what's great about this play, is that it's, like, such a forbidden subject. Like, oh, you don't talk about things that aren't just happy.
Yeah, anything that's about your mental illness. And that's the cool thing is, I think that's also why I was afraid after I saw this musical, because the fact that, at least back in the day, if you had some sort of mental illness, immediately they're like, oh, you must be crazy. And it's like, no, anxiety is normal. Depression is normal. Everybody goes through it, just in weird stages.
And I want to, like, emphasize the fact that, sometimes medication does work for some people.
Yes.
But I do love that the play shows that it doesn't work for everybody.
Correct.
Because there is no right or wrong. And which is why we go through that in that song, which is why we go through the million different variables of medication.
And the doctor even says, like, medicine is not magic, and you should know that. And I was like, yes, correct.
And, like, the whole electroshock therapy, which, I mean, you said you didn't realize we still
didn't know.
It.
Yeah, I was like, I didn't realize that was still a thing. But yeah, you and I looked it up. You knew, but I looked it up, and pretty much it's like the last resort. And like Wikipedia.
And it has worked for some people, but it is a very drastic step, and you don't know how it's going to end. Exactly. She lost a lot of her memory.
She lost 19 years of memory.
And she regained it as she went, but. And then, and then her husband's like, it's just all so sad. Like, he's just like, we'll just do more therapy. We'll just do more electroshock, and you'll forget again, and it'll be happy. We'll be happy. It'll be great.
Yeah. It's just the fact that they think that forgetting this one thing that causes you to be in so much pain will be enough.
And it proves that one thing wasn't the only thing that was going to push her to this point. Like, that was a major factor, but she had mental illness before that. And she would have mental illness no matter what.
Yeah, just like Gabe said in his song Aftershocks, where he's like, you cut out the cancer but you can't fill the hole. And I was like, oh, yup.
or like when she's all like, what if it's like, just it's been the same thing. It's like,
it's not in my blood.
It's not in my blood, it's in my soul.
Yeah, which makes sense because she's been dealing with this mental disorder since she was a kid.
Yeah, it's not something that's just so easy. It's like if he hadn't have died, like, there could have been another trigger that happened that set off something, and maybe it wouldn't have gotten as bad, but it still would have been hard. It still wouldn't have been this happy, easygoing family that the Dan wants it to be.
Yeah, which is unfortunate because I admire that Dan wants to try and be a rock, but he also is like he's like a stress sponge.
That when she leaves, then he sees Gabe, because I love that it's showing that he's never dealt with the loss of his son.
Or he's just suppressing it.
He said, well, yeah, and he just focused. I think for me, how I took it was he kept himself so busy taking care of her, going to work, taking care of
now that he's
Natalie.
Alone.
Like, just, he kept himself from having to think about it. And then when she left, that was such a large part of something that distracted him that now the distraction's gone.
Yeah, it's just like when you're feeling sad or anything, if you're alone, the worst time
your mind goes into a million
different things. So I can imagine the fact that he doesn't have someone to distract himself from. Natalie wasn't home at this point in time. He was just alone in his thoughts. And Gabe's
she had just left.
Hey.
And something he'd been working 19 years to try to hold on to just walked out the door.
Yeah. Which, again, I'm actually really proud of Dan, because most people would leave and be like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I can't. But he stuck it out because he wanted to find a cure.
And that's the saddest part of that song at the end, of him being like, I was the one who waited. I was the one who stayed. I was the one who loved you, and you walked away. Like,
it sucks.
And it's just so real. Like, I think everyone can identify with that in some way or another, whether it just be a relationship ending or whether it be something more personal, like with your family or friends or whatever. Like, sometimes you just have to cut a friend out of your life.
You gotta do it.
So like, I can't, like, I feel like I'm just, like, overselling this musical, but
it's true.
Just compliment it enough and how well it did its job.
Yeah, and the fact that even though I don't believe it's running anymore anywhere.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, because I know it did come back into LA for a little bit at one point in a very small theater, but it didn't do very well.
If it's somewhere, it might be in Europe.
Yeah, probably. I would not doubt that. But I know for a fact that
it ended its Europe, it opened in 2015 in Tetrococcia.
What?
Coccia? I'm probably saying that completely wrong. In Navarro.
Insane.
So I don't know if it's still there, but that's the last.
That's the last they've seen of it. But yeah, I know that it did come back in LA, and it was a really small theater, and it was like, it wasn't like the grand set that you see with the 3 stories. It was like all in one room, and it was very awkward.
But like, the set is, I mean, you say grand, but it's a pretty,
it's grand
like
to
scaffolding.
Me because it is. It's scaffolding, but it's cool because with like Aaron Tveit like swinging around, like Gabe. I love that Gabe has made the entire.
And when he walks up without clothes on.
Oh my god, that opening scene! I was like, hello. Especially the guy, Kurt, right?
Kurt,
who was
Hansen.
in the tour, the U.S. tour. Holy moly, that boy was built. But like the fact that like the Gabe character is able to swing around and like hang on stuff, and like you said, like your favorite scene was at the very end of I'm Alive, where he reaches down and she's reaching up. Like, it's just.
I mean, it's one of my favorite. I feel like this musical, I could try to tell you my favorite song. Like, I'm not even gonna go there because.
No, I love the entire.
I will listen to the entire soundtrack over and over again. I will sing every song. If there's a song I'm gonna skip, most likely it'll be
The Haze.
No. I think it would be the Mozart Was Crazy song, just because it's a little slow paced and I want to get to the more.
And it's short too. Like, it's not like that long.
But all of the Henry and her songs.
Those are my favorite.
All of those.
Ones.
Oh my god. And I love like she's like, their relationship is so.
It's very teenager.
It's very teenager, but it's also so like her like blaming him as a scapegoat because she has. Yeah, again, it's just so real.
Yeah, so if you
I don't know what else we can say besides
that. If you are watching us and you're like, what is this play? You should at least listen to the album. It is a little off because people are like, I don't know what's happening in this play. Just read the Wikipedia and listen to the songs. That's what I always tell people. Yeah. If it's not like a Hamilton where like the entire thing, or Les Miserables.
I mean, and this is a majority of the singing. There is talking in between, but it's not a lot. So
it's not a lot. So like
you can get the gist of it if you listen to the lyrics of it.
Yeah, and if you want to get more input, I would read the Wikipedia while you listen. Yes. But yeah, I feel like this,
or just buy the script, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, whatever you want to do. But like, I feel like out of all the musicals that I've seen or at least heard of or anything like that, I feel like this is like my top 3 for like one of the most real musicals that like relate to realistic stuff. Yeah. You know, that doesn't have to be you having a mental illness, just in general. Yeah, just going through
any kind of depression. Yeah, you can relate to this musical.
In any way, shape, and form. If you've lost a family member, same thing, whether it was a son or daughter or just like a cousin or a friend.
If you just feel lost.
Yeah, also helpful. Like this is it's one of those musicals that's very universal, and that I love.
And the music carries you through that. Like I said, we were going to get to the music, so let's just get into the music. Sure. The music tells the story, because we have powerful music, we have ballads, we have slow down. Much. You have talking kind of songs. Mm-hmm. So you have all these different things that are making you feel whatever emotion, even more so than the actors. Like, the actors are adding to it as well, but the music is just like making, when she's angry, the music gets angry. When she's sad, the music's more somber. It follows the characters so well.
Yeah. And I love that most of Dan's songs are usually pretty happy because he's trying to stay positive.
Because that's in his head, yeah. Mm-hmm. And, he lets his guard down during my psychopharmacologist of, like, being like, who's crazy, the husband or wife? Like, who's crazy? Like, that. me staying
sitting in the
through
car.
all of this, like, trying this hard when nothing's working. Like, am I crazy?
Yeah.
Like, it goes, like, through these motions of, like, making hints towards other musicals, like Sound of Music.
Oh yeah, I love that. When they did that with these are a few of my favorite pills, I was like, this is amazing. Favorite pills.
And also just like the notes back to, like, literature and Cuckoo's Nest and
Mozart in the beginning. It was very lovely.
They did so much research and were so smart in the lyrics, in the music, in the concepts, like.
It was just, like I said, it's a very universal, well-rounded show, and like I said, you can listen to this musical, you could start anywhere and enjoy it.
And like we say, it is very depressing, but at the end of the day, like, especially if I feel like if you're really depressed,
it's a good
just listen to Light.
Yeah.
And just leave it at that.
But even if you're feeling angry, listening to You Don't Know and I Am the One Together, or listening to, I have the list up here because I always forget, like, all the songs, because there's so many titles and they're usually pretty long.
Didn't I See This Movie?
Yeah, that one's pretty funny.
Because if you want to just yell in your car, there is no better thing to yell than, like, what makes you think I'd lose my mind?
And it's amazing. And I
try not to yell on the microphone for people that are listening.
I'm really proud of you. But even, like, if you can remember all the lyrics of The Break, when she, like, has that of, like, glass shattering moment of, like, oh my god, I need to get all this out right now because I'm so mad. Like, all of that comes out in that song.
How could I ever forget if you're just, like, wanting a somber, sad note?
Yeah. Like,
sometimes we just listen to things that make us want to cry.
Hey, man, you gotta get that good cry out. It makes you feel better after. But, like, every song that's in this album will be something that you want to sing when you're happy or sad or angry or whatever.
Oh, my God, sorry. That just made me think of that whole scene of...
Yep.
Of her just remembering and him not answering her.
Especially because there was nobody else on stage. The stage was completely dark. There was a spotlight on the two of them in a box.
And then him breaking the music box.
I was so mad. And I didn't even know that Natalie was home at that time when he threw it. And I was like, what is happening? And, like, even, like, I think that's why I like Why Stay, because it really shows it's like this relationship might be breaking, but they also have good points.
It also shows that no matter how much, like, love you have for each other, because they both love each other at the core of it.
Yeah.
Sometimes love is just, it's not enough. And the play ends in a way that you don't know what could happen. She could come back and they could make it work. Or like, maybe they're just better off without each other.
Yeah.
And both of those scenarios are fine. Mm-hmm. But sometimes you do need to take a step back. I mean, they've, like, 19 years in a relationship that started because of a pregnancy, pretty much.
Yeah. It's tough. And the fact that, like, I'm also really proud of her character because she didn't stay, like, alone. Like, she was with her parents. Yeah. Like, I love that she was like, I just need to stay away from
and also, like,
together.
just so you know, like, the when she's singing to Natalie and Natalie being like, all this caring, like, where has it been for 16 years? And her, like, being like, I was trying to give you a normal life. And
yeah, and she's like, I don't want that. And then, roll like, credits. Like, something next to normal.
Yeah, I don't need a life that's, I think she said, I don't need a life that's normal, that's way too far away.
It's
something
true.
Next to normal.
But I also like that they bring that up a lot in this play, like when she,
because there is no normalcy. Normal is subjective. Like, there's no definition of what normal is.
Normal is overrated, y'all. That's just what I'm gonna say. But I love that line of
normal
just, like,
is whatever you make it.
Yeah, and I like that line that they have right after she finished her ECT. I want to say AZT because of rent, but like right. ECT. And like he's like, your life will get back to normal, and he's like, I don't really give a flying F what's normal. We haven't had a normal day in years. And I'm like, yeah, 19 years of this crazy crap. Like, it makes sense. And the fact that you shouldn't be striving for that, and I feel like that's where
I
Dan
also like to like just use this as a motivation, because I just saw so many people go through it personally, in high school and stuff, or even just out of high school, people that were young and getting pregnant and thinking they had to get married. Like, I think
you don't have to.
I think it's such a big thing. Like, you don't have to. Like, you shouldn't make that commitment to someone unless both of you are ready.
I didn't see the chat.
Do we have a lot going?
Yeah, we got Jazz41173 and we have Paul Sharp. Love the show. They talk about it. Jazz related to this because he has a big family, lots of cousins, he's lost family. I'm not going to get into the gist of it because there's a lot. We can look at it later. But Jaz's favorite song, I don't know if we've gotten into that part of the podcast.
I just said I couldn't give you a favorite because I love them all.
But yeah, I love them all also. Jaz's favorite song is Superboy and Invisible Girl.
Oh, such a good song.
Yeah, that one's my favorite just because my mom and I don't get along.
They're just all my favorites.
Yeah, but it's like, pretty much they're all my favorites, but that one I relate to because my mom and I don't get along, so I want to yell at her that song all the time because I have a brother that she loves more. But, and I love I Am the One. I am the one. Oh God, it's so good. But yeah, and Eloise is also in there. She's never seen the show, but he has seen the soundtrack. Sorry, I just saw your picture. But yeah, so like,
yeah, I mean, if you get it like we said, I don't think it's planning on touring anytime soon. But if it does tour again, or if it goes to Broadway in New York, it's definitely a show that is worth seeing, and just the acting alone that it takes, you should commend all of them. Like I told Alexis when I saw it on a Wednesday, so I saw it on Wednesday night, so she had a matinee earlier, but Alice wasn't able to come out because she was just so emotionally drained, could barely get out of her chair.
Yeah.
But the security guard was nice enough to take my playbill back and get
so sweet.
Autograph from her, and she was kind enough to sign it.
I mean, I feel like she leaves a piece of her every time she performs, because if you look at when she started to perform,
I mean, you'll see when we show the Tony Awards clip too, how much she does.
She puts so much, but like I said, in 2009, she was putting so much of her into it, and then if you look at her by 2011, she still puts 110%, but you can tell that this play has weighed on her.
Yeah, it's drained her.
Yeah, which
just as other shows like Wicked drains your voice if you're alpha bud, this one drains your physical being.
Yeah, because she's throwing herself around and stuff. It's a lot.
It's a lot. Let's go ahead and show the Tony Awards clip. And while we do that, I'll read kind of what was nominated and won.
Yeah, go for it.
It's Carrie Fisher.
I know.
It was nominated for Best Musical, Best Book of a Musical, Best Performance by a Leading Actor for J. Robert Spencer, Best Performance by a Featured Actress for Jennifer Damiano, Best Direction of a Musical, Best Scenic Design, Best Lighting Design, and Best Sound Design. It won Best Original Score. It won Alice Ripley won for Best Leading Actress.
Yep.
Best Orchestration and Best Sound Design.
Yeah, I remember, I felt bad for the cast for this Tony Award because for some reason, this Tonys, they were always having mic problems.
They had a lot of sound problems.
Oh my God, it was so frustrating. But it didn't take.
My friend was actually, because he was in West Side Story, so he was at the Tonys and he was telling me all about all the problems that were happening.
If you rewatch, I don't know what year this is. 2009. Yeah, the 2009 Tonys were rough. But it doesn't matter. This one stood out to me out of the entire set that we had, mostly just because there was a lot of revivals that year. But this play was so good.
I think Hair was this year.
Yeah, it was Hair, West Side Story, a couple other things that I can't remember. But it was it was
Guys and Dolls.
It was the year of the revival, pretty much.
And it was also Rock of Ages.
Yeah, it was like I said, it was a year of revivals. Next to Normal was pretty much. Yeah. Oh wow. But I felt like Next to Normal was the most original out of anything that was on there that year, and it stood out hard. Look at her go.
I love when she throws the silverware.
I always feel bad for the person who has to, the stagehand has to call that up. Especially because they move their own stuff because there's nobody on there, but we also can't see. Who cleans that up later?
Somebody.
Oh, God.
I love him, but I will say that with his jaw doing what it does,
it
makes my jaw hurt.
Yeah, because it looks like he's just tense the entire time.
Which maybe he is because of how he has to be for the character.
Yeah.
He was also in Jersey Boys, let me get the actor's name.
Yeah.
It's J. Robert. I already said it. J. Robert Spencer.
Did we do Grease?
Not yet. Okay. Just look at her emotion.
I know, she looks amazing. Oh, God. I just want to watch this clip forever. I'm waiting for Aaron because I need him in my life.
He's coming right now.
There he is. Oh, do you hear the squeals? I feel like even though Aaron has done so much, I feel like this is my favorite role that he's ever done.
It's definitely my favorite role he's ever done.
I mean, I love him in Les Miserables. I loved him in Grease Live and a few other things that he's done.
He also did the Catch Me If You Can,
Yes.
which I listened to the soundtrack I've never seen.
Yeah, but I feel like, I don't know what it is. I feel like he fits this role so well.
I mean, I saw him originally as Link in Hairspray in a small
San
Jose theater,
but still, you know, I feel like he really put his all in this musical, and it's so good. Especially in I'm Alive.
This is emotion-wise the best for me because it's like her being told that he's not there.
Yeah.
She's just been told he's not there.
Yeah.
But she sees him and like it's just so
and she feels him like they're holding hands too.
Like
at
she's
one
trying
point.
not to look at him because she's like, what?
Like what's happening? Yeah. I mean, can you imagine living your entire life, you know,
with a son that never
existed?
Really, like existed, but not in any image that you have.
Especially the fact of how they played it in the beginning of this musical, where he walks in late, you know, past curfew, and she's like, go.
It's also astounding for the other actors to just have to not notice him ever.
Yeah, and like I said, like he's always hovering, but like he can't do anything. But it's just, I love how she like has excitement, and then she's like, I should probably get back into what I'm doing. Like,
I love this too. Like you say you heard, you say that you know, but like, no, you don't.
Oh God, I love her. I was waiting for her to like kick him or something. I was like, there's so much emotion. Yeah. My mom was like, I'm so confused. And I was like, yeah, that boy doesn't exist. Look at his face. I know, he knows what he's doing.
He's like, yeah, you love me.
Yeah. You knew that you were going to pick me. It's fine. Oh, so good.
Also, just the fact that you don't know his name until the very end of the musical.
But it's the best part of the musical,
because every time that they try bringing it up, no one says his name. When she asks him, he doesn't answer her, and then when him looking at his dad, being like,
"What is his name?"
No, I know, but when he looks at his dad,
I know.
It's all like,
yeah, he's like Gabriel.
Gabe.
Yeah, and I was like, and he's like, "Hi, Dad," and I was like, "Oh,
all the feels."
Everything hurts.
Okay, so I need to get to the Broadway news that we have. Because we're running out of time, because I could just gush about this musical forever, because that's how much I love it.
It's so good.
Guys, you can hit me up on Twitter or anything. I'll talk about it with you for hours.
Oh my God.
So I don't have too much today. They did announce some of the performances that are going to be at the Tony Awards happening not this Sunday, but next Sunday on the 11th. Josh Groban is going to lead the cast of Natasha.
Of course.
Pierre in a mashup. Dear Evan Hansen's going to perform Waving Through a Window,
yes.
led by Ben Platt. And the Falsettos cast is going to reunite along with others. They haven't unveiled all of them, but those are some of the ones they unveiled.
So they did bring it back? Because I thought
Falsettos?
I thought that they were done, and then all of a sudden I heard that they were coming back, and I was like, I'm so confused.
Yeah. I don't know if they actually came back, if they're just doing it for the Tonys.
I mean, that would be nice, just to do it for the Tonys. Just
because sometimes as long as you were in that time period, even if you're not currently, you can be nominated for Tony Award.
Okay, I mean, I'll take that, because I thought.
So I'm not sure. I mean, if you guys know, let us know. I'm not 100% sure on that one.
Yeah.
The biggest one that people are talking about right now is that with Hello Dolly, Bette Midler may not perform.
Really?
Yeah, they said that we might see David Hyde Pierce perform instead in a song that she's not in.
Huh.
And that's
is there a reason? No.
And
interesting.
It's not confirmed that we won't see her.
Right.
It's just not like that's kind of what the rumor is right now.
Sure.
And I think people are just more surprised at the fact that that wasn't just like, yeah, she's going to perform. Like, I think everyone was just assuming
she was
Bette Midler hasn't been on the Broadway for a while, and she's going to perform.
Interesting.
I mean, I love David Hyde Pierce, too.
Yeah, I'm all for it, but I was surprised.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I'm all right.
There's also someone that just said that they want to take over for Bette Midler. Kevin Spacey.
Oh, that's right. I was like, I forgot.
So we'll see. I mean, on next Wednesday, we'll see all of the performances, but those are some that we know we're going to get to see, and some of the songs we know we're going to get to see, and I guess we'll just have to wait to see if we'll see Bette.
I mean, yeah.
She'll be there, but if we'll see her
way.
perform. Either way, I love David Hyde Pierce as well. The other big news this past week was that Bye Bye Birdie is not going to be this December, and it's going to be pushed to 2018.
Which I found?
No date of month or anything.
Yeah.
But we do know that NBC's doing Jesus Christ Superstar in April.
Yes. Yeah, there's a lineup. We just don't know what's coming first besides
Jesus Christ Superstar is the only thing we have a date for as of right now with live musicals, I think.
Because right now, what we have...
They have Christmas Story, Rent, Jesus Christ Superstar, Bye Bye Birdie, and A Few Good Men. Aaron Sorkin's A Few Good Men.
Interesting.
But that's not a musical, I think, is it? Or is it just a play?
I think that one's just a play.
Yeah, I think it is too.
Yeah.
So they're going to do lives of all of those, but so far Jesus Christ Superstar is going to be on Easter 2018, and that's the only we have a date for. I assume A Christmas Story will be around Christmas time because...
It has to be. That would be
I
weird
don't know why you would do it anytime else. Like, unless you're going to go like with ABC Family's old lineup of Christmas in July.
I mean...
Who knows? I wonder why they're pushing it, though. I wonder if it's Jennifer Lopez's schedule because of World of Dance and Shades of Blue.
Probably.
Like, she's just too busy.
She's probably too busy, I'm assuming, because she's got a lot on her plate right now.
Because, I mean, she's the only person they announced even. I mean, we know Harvey Fierstein is penning the script.
Yes.
And we know that...
maybe. I mean, he could also need more time, possibly, on the script.
And we know that Jerry Mitchell and Alex Ruditsky are going to direct.
Yes.
But other than that,
I mean,
we don't know anything.
Yeah, so
we kept waiting for more information, and none came, and now it makes sense as to why we never got more.
Yeah, so I feel like there's probably some personal stuff that we probably will not ever know about, and there's probably like actual work related schedules and stuff. Yeah, which is
so. I mean, as of right now, I don't. And it's just crazy because NBC has always done a December musical, live musical. Yeah, and now we won't have one this year from them, at least, if at all.
Yeah, which is going to be weird this year, but it's fine because I'd rather them take more time to, not perfect, but, like, work on a musical than just, like, let's rush it and just, like, throw it in there.
And also, especially, like, if she doesn't have the time to put into it yet, wait for her to get the time to put into it.
Yeah, because, again, you don't want to, again, rush her where she can't perform, at her, 100%,
Yeah.
So I'm good either way.
That's all I had, unless you had something else you wanted to talk about.
No, I'm just looking at the chat because now we're talking about like newsies and stuff. But
all right then.
Yeah, right.
I mean, thank you guys also for always being in the chat. I know we don't always have it up. I'm trying to get to a place where we can more, but we do appreciate. We love to hear from you.
But no, yeah, I'm very intrigued to see more. Not realistic plays, but more universal plays like this. Like, I love Dear Evan Hansen, which is going to be going for a Tony
nomination. I think that, we need the happy plays, but we also need the ones that are going to speak to subject matter that doesn't necessarily always get talked about.
Yeah, like I said, like, I really love these, mental illness awareness kind of plays that are coming out. Or have came out, because Next Normal was freaking 10 years old. So, like, stuff like that. And hopefully there'll be more in the future, but it's not going to be like a, every musical.
It's also just nice to see, like, I love revivals, and I do, and I love having them, but I love when people come up with these original ideas that are just so amazing, good. And you're just like, how did you even start to think of this? So, the more, Hamilton was another one that's just like this original idea. I mean, we had 1776, but
I
don't think you can say that those are anything.
No, but it's I mean, the not the origin, but the fact of like what they did with history is pretty original. So even if, I mean, I'm not saying that we should start sitting there and start bringing out all dusty historical figures and start making them into rap or anything, but like,
no, because we've just done that, but
but you know what I mean. But like,
no,
I feel
but like
to
have something that. I love seeing something that's completely new and creative, not just taking a movie. Like, not that, like, I'm not trying to bash any of these things. Like, I love, like, Legally Blonde and stuff, like, movies made as musicals can be great. But it's there's something about having those original musicals and having something brand new come out that, like, it makes you happy because, like, especially in our day and age, we're seeing so much stuff being, like, even television and film just remade or brought back.
Or like Disney movies being made into musicals at this point in time, like Frozen and things like that.
Yeah, so you're seeing all this stuff that's being kind of recycled in a way that it's great to see these new original thoughts come out.
Yeah, I'm hoping that, when the generations start getting a little older, we'll get more playwrights who want to make stuff that's just really awesome. I mean, Kinky Boots, even though that was also a movie, is still a great musical that you and I saw.
Like I said, like, movies can make great musicals. That's the title of the show, which is also a great musical, says in there. They can make great musicals.
Yeah, no, correct. And so, like,
but not always.
No, I mean,
not always.
There's some.
Spider-Man, Bring on the Dogs.
Oh, God. Bring it on. But, like, you know what I mean? But I'm very intrigued to see what the next few years, what the Tonys are going to look like in the next, like, 5 years. Like, it's going to be insane.
It's exciting. It's an exciting time for Broadway.
Yep.
All right, lady. Let's wrap it on up here. Can you tell the people where they can find you?
I want to talk more about this musical. You guys can find me sniffling at Torres890. I'm on a break from most of my AfterBuzz shows that are coming up with our sister network, if you don't know what that is. But check me out, Sense8 on Mondays, Attack on Titan on Mondays, and Robots in Disguise on Tuesdays. But yeah, check me out there.
You guys can find me at bphipps14 on Twitter and Instagram, and bphipps1214 on Snapchat. We are not going to have a Broadway breakdown for the next 2 weeks. We're taking a little bit of a break, and also because the Tony Awards are on the 11th, and I just want to watch those.
Yeah, enjoy
and
them.
not have to think at all. So we're going to take a little bit of a break, but we'll be back on the 18th with Book of Mormon.
Yay!
A much lighter topic in some ways. It's a comedy.
I don't know about that, but sure.
Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe to us. Let us know in the comments below what you think and also what you want to see us cover. We love hearing from you. And we will see you in a few weeks.
Bye, guys.
Have a great one.
Producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svita, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network. We would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network. The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Popcorn Talk Network or its owners or principals.